Woo! What up, YouTube Live? This is yours truly, Rama Screen, covering movies, TV, and entertainment. Welcome back again. Earlier this morning, I was on giving you my live review of El Camino, Breaking Bad movie. Now I'm back. I am back to give you my thoughts about today's all new DC Universe Titans episode. So, this review contains spoilers, so heads up, spoiler alert. This video or this review is mainly for those of you, my fellow Titans fans, who have also watched today's episode. Now, I was not able to review last week's episode because I was away at New York Comic Con and my schedule was so busy, man. And of course, I had that freaking East Coast time zone thing that kind of messed up my biology. I I woke up like at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. and it felt like 4 a.m. because my body was still stuck in California time. It was so weird. So I was not able to review last week's Titans episode in time. But now I'm back. Um, but I did watch last week's episode. It ended with Jason Todd plummeting to the earth from I don't know how many story the building was. And it was an episode that was titled Deathstroke, but what's the word I'm looking for here? For whatever reason, the episode was not dedicated to Deathstroke. Um, but today the episode is titled Connor, and it's really, really dedicated to Connor. Now, for those of you, my fellow DC fans, you would know who Connor is, right? Connor is Superboy. Not the Superboy from the 1990s live action television series. Remember that? I actually watched that too. I love that. I was a big fan of the girl who played Lana Lang. Man, she had like the brightest red hair ever. Um, but Superboy, as you know, in the comic books, I believe there have been many incarnations, um, or iterations, I should say. And one of the famous ones is that he is a clone resulting from Lex Luthor DNAs and um, Clark Kent's or Superman's DNAs. So it's a combination of both, resulting in voila, out of the lab, fresh out of the lab, Connor, or AKA Kon-el. I believe the other incarnation of Superboy, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. My memory is a bit rusty. It's a split DNA combination of Clark Kent and Lois Lane, I believe. Some Superboy named John Lane Kent or something. But this one, they stick with the Titans version, not the new 52 Superboy. So the Titans version of Superboy Connor, and he's played by this Australian actor named Joshua Orpin, whose body work I'm not familiar with. But let me just right off the bat and say that as a fan of Superman, I grew up a fan of Christopher Reeve. I will die a Superman fan, not a Batman fan. I must say that Joshua looks the part. He kind of looks the part, man. He actually, this is a pretty good casting on the show's part. Joshua owns it, and I know I'm judging it just based on this one episode, but bam, he's Superboy. He's Connor, and in this storyline, he busts out of the lab, and of course he rescues the dog Crypto, and the people with the lab, and the character Mercy Graves is also, I believe Mercy Graves is also a famous character from the DC comics. She's been portrayed on screen as well. I believe in Smallville as well, and Supergirl. But anyways, Mercy Graves and the lab people want to get their specimen back, Superboy. Um, and for the first half of this episode, I would say even not even first half, even less than that, it's a bit of a fish out of water thing, fish out of water element. Ooh, look at that. The sky is blue. Ooh, what is that? Street? Oh, what are those? Cars? Connor isn't exactly like that or behaving exactly like that, but it is still a fish out of water element. And because of the memories of those two characters, Lex Luthor and Clark Kent, he's not able to kind of determine which one that he's actually envisioning right now. So he brings himself to Kansas, and he ends up not in the Kent's farm, but in Lex Luthor's farm, where he has these flashes of Lex's dad beating him when he was a kid, when Lex was a kid, and so he feels that, because that's part of him now. He's got Lex memory and he's got Clark Kent's memory, and in this at this moment, after he mingles with Lex's dad, as bad as the dad is, he's old now, so he's fragile, and Connor has a bit of empathy for Lex's dad, and so when the labs or Mercy Grave soldiers bust in, he wants to be protective of Lex's dad, and my thoughts about that whole sequence is fantastic. It's so cool watching, you know, Superboy in action. As a fan of Superman, because Superboy doesn't know how to fly, um, but he's got all the other powers that Superman has. The red vision, uh, the super strength, um, the speed. So seeing that in action and the way this episode does it is, I mean, it looks cool. The visual effects is very well done in this episode. Man, at one point he pushes that guy through the wall, and he uses breathing power to push all of them back, and apparently he kills them. I know, right? Superman doesn't kill, and Superboy is not supposed to kill. He's not supposed to kill, but as you know, this Titans show is not Young Justice. It's not Teen Titans. It's not your Sunday morning Titans. Okay, this is where our heroes kill. They break necks. They punch somebody to death. This is a show where anything goes, and they don't hold back. They even curse like a sailor. So unfortunately, those guys are killed. As an idealist, I'll be like, oh man, Superboy's a murderer. But hey, the whole sequence is still, it looks fantastic despite that. And the rest of the episode follows him and this character named Dr. Eve Watson. I believe he's from the comic books, maybe. I don't remember her. But so Eve Watson's teaching, Connor about consequence, and Dr. Watson reveals to Connor that I had a hand in creating you. It was my idea to splice Lex's gene with Superman's gene. And, so Dr. Watson feels very guilty, feels very responsible. She even takes Connor to Cadmus, or what used to be Cadmus. It looks like one of those abandoned factories in the Rust Belt states. I bet you that's all it is. It was never actually a fancy lab or any better looking building before that. I mean, for the production's sake, production designers like, you know what? Let's find the nearest abandoned building, abandoned factory, and use that as a front for Cadmus, or where Cadmus used to be. Um, and this is where Connor discovers the lab, and what the scientific experiment, and the creatures in the glass tubes. And Mercy Graves, the rest of the episode, Mercy Graves like, you know what? I'm gonna do it my way. She's gonna fill her guns with kryptonite. And by the end of this episode, you see Connor saving Jason Todd. See, I was like, oh, that's so cool. Because when that happened last week, when the fall happened, I was like, Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's not how Jason Todd is supposed to go out. Mr. J, where are you? Um, this episode today is what you would consider a detour episode or a filler episode, one of those episodes that take you away from the main story arc. You know you know those episodes, right? We've seen those. The Walking Dead is guilty of making a lot of those episodes. Um, but I'm glad that by the end of it, it connects Connor with the rest of the guys. You know, it's not one of those episodes that's just about Connor and that's it. Um, it introduces Connor to the rest of the guys, so that's pretty cool in my opinion. Um, a few thoughts as well that I have here. Um, the first beginning parts of the episode when Connor is trying to evade or hide from the authorities, you know, trying to kind of blend in with the society. That kind of cracks me up because your shirt, man, your shirt kind of give it away. It's not really a good cover there when you're wearing like, you know, like you're basically holding a sign, you know, hey, I'm related to Superman. Hey, I'm right here, an S symbol. Mercy Graves can find you without even like using her tech. I know. Superboy, that's his signature style. He has to have the black T-shirt with the Superman S. But it's not a smart move if you're trying to hide from the authorities. Um, what else? Oh, I mentioned to you that I think Joshua Orpin is a perfect cast decision for this role. I do however, have a problem with the person who plays Dr. Watson, Genevieve Angelson. Now, I'm not trying to belittle her or trying to say that I'm not going to trash her like, oh, she's a bad actress or anything. No, 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 no. I'm just saying that profile wise, right? Um, it would have been more perfect if she had been a little bit or significantly older. You know, she talks about in this episode. She talks about, oh yeah, you know, I studied this. I have these years of experience, and you know, uh, I share this idea with Lex Luthor. She makes it seem as if she is this authoritative figure in scientific community that Lex Luthor himself, who is a scientist, kind of looks up to her or comes to her for advice or ideas. I don't know. To me, it needs to be a woman that is a bit older, you know, to sell that character to me, as opposed to this actress who plays her in this episode. But again, it's not the trasher or anything. And I wish her well in her in her upcoming roles or upcoming gigs. Genevieve Angelson, but it would have been more perfect if it had been somebody older. Let's see what else do I have on my note. The action sequences are cool. Oh yes, Crypto, the dog. Oh, so awesome! Did you see that? Did you see the action where Crypto catches the God? I can't remember the name. Is it Bazooka? Is it Bazooka? Right? He catches it in midair and he's like throws it back to the guy. Oh man, even Crypto the dog, man, even he kills a guy. Superboy kills a lot of people, but the dog also kills a guy. It's like wow, wow. The dog even commits murder. That's something. But that's Titans for you, man. That is Titans for you. Um, I can't wait to see how. Here's the thing, though. Um, Titans, you know, with the exception of Raven and Rose and Coriander, um, the rest of the Titans are just normal human beings, right? with the exception of Coriander, Raven, and sorry, excuse me. Ah, oh, and Beast Boy as well. Those guys, they have super abilities within them naturally. Right? They can turn into animals. They can manipulate fire. Raven, of course, has her demonic powers, but the rest of them are humans. So I'm very curious how the writers of this show are gonna factor in Superboy, into their story of Titans versus Deathstroke. How is Superboy gonna, what's his role in that? Because Superboy, of course, by a long shot, is more powerful than any of them. You know, more powerful than Coriander, Raven, and even like obviously the more powerful than than the human Titans. So with a guy that's with so much strength, um, I can imagine even in the training session in the training room, it would not be it would not be a fair training. It would not be a fair fight. You know, there could be resentment from the rest of the members, um, towards or at Superboy. It's like, dude, this guy's just too powerful, man. He can't be part of the team. He can't even control his powers. And he can even hurt us in the process. So um, we'll see how this plays out and whether or not they can work as a team with Superboy as part of the equation. It's gonna be a it's not gonna be easy. I think it's gonna be a pretty rough adjustment. Obviously, Jason Todd will be defending him because he saved his life. Jason Todd, who is usually a jerk, he's gonna be like, "Hey, you know what? I don't care. Superboy is on our team. All right, we're gonna make this work." Um, so, excuse me, man, my nose is runny. So we'll see about that, how that's gonna happen. And of course, I'm sure with Deathstroke too. Like Deathstroke is, he's highly skilled, but he's not super powered. You know, he's highly skilled. He's very sharp shooter, sharp swordsman skill. Superman can kill him within like. What I'm trying to say is that, like, how is Superboy? I'm sorry, not Superman. How is Superboy gonna play well with the team? Um, uh, Being that he is way too powerful or more powerful than any of them. Like it's not a level playing field, if you will. If you have Titans versus Deathstroke minus Superboy, it will be a fantastic match, right? We're gonna see them, getting the upper hand. Which one during the fight? Who gets to get the advantage over the other person? But Superboy comes in, he can just like look, and Deathstroke will be like, "Woo, go away!" And like, oh, that's all we needed. Just a Superboy. Apparently, that's all we needed, guys. Um, so we'll see how this plays out. All right, you guys. Sorry, my nose keeps running. I don't know why. Maybe I need to go see a doctor or something, or maybe I just need to lie down. I haven't gotten enough sleep. Thank you so much for tuning in. Am I weird? Dark OPC says, what if Deathstroke used the kryptonite? Oh, what if Deathstroke used the kryptonite bullets? That's a good question. Yes. So that could be one way to level the game between Deathstroke and Superboy and Titans, or yes, Deathstroke versus Superboy and Titans if Deathstroke used kryptonite bullets. So that's a good idea. I'm not sure about your other question, the scientist and the shipping Superboy and the scientist. But yeah, that could be an idea. I want to see that happen. It's gonna be a great showdown. I can't wait. This is episode 6, so this season has 13 episodes. So we have 7 more to go. Um, Now that we welcome Superboy, we'll see how this plays out. Oh, I love this show. Titans greatness. That's right. Thank you so much, you guys, for watching this live review of Titans Season 2, Episode 6. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel. Press that like button. Ring that bell. And if you can help support me, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. I'm going to head out now to the first day of Los Angeles Comic Con later this evening. And I'll be giving you more coverage of that also tomorrow. So stay tuned and let's rock this.